are joining us in studio now because these two fellers are in town at the Royal Regina dinner tomorrow night. Bruce Boudreau, former NHLer, NHL coach. He's been on the show before. Bruce, thanks so much for coming down to downtown Regina.
It's my pleasure. First time being in Regina and loving it.
Really, first time being in Regina. You were telling a story earlier about your time playing junior, the Memorial Cup, against New Westminster. And there's a lot of people out there driving around that were Pats fans back then. New Westminster had this, aura about them. They were the meanest, toughest team around. You had a chance to play them in the Memorial Cup. What year was that?
76 or 75. It's been a while. I know in hockey there's always split seasons, so I never know if it's. I think it was 75, 76, so it would have been May of 76.
Coming up on 50 years, Mr. Boudreau.
Okay, thank you.
You guys win the Memorial Cup, but New Westminster came to the national championship, and they were the bullies there too. They didn't go like, hey, we're just going to play offense here for a few days.
No.
They were intimidating.
They were scary, intimidating. I mean, another guy I forgot to mention was Stan Schmiel. Was on that team. But I mean, when you have Barry Beck and you have this guy Clayton Paul Hall, because the first thing you always do when you get is look at the stats, right? 460 minutes, 390 minutes, and we're going. Our biggest guy is Mike Kitchen at 5'11", and we're going. How are we going to make out? And the worst thing that could have happened to us was we didn't play them first. Sherbrooke, the other team in the Memorial Cup at the time, there was only 3 teams back then, and they played them, and there was a big brawl in the first period, and New West beat everybody up, and we were petrified the next game we played them. But I mean, they used to sit there at the red line and watch our warm up. They wouldn't even do nothing, but if a puck went over there, you had to come over there, and they were ready to fight you, right? And so we only had 2 pucks. We lost one, and the guy came up to me and said, we only got one puck, Bruce. That's all we're using tonight. So, I mean, we were pretty scared. They beat us the first game, and our coach, George Armstrong, had the best psychology thing going when we played them in the final, he said, I don't want anybody fighting anybody. Nobody's going to even hit anybody. We want to just play hockey tonight. And if you don't do it, you're not going to play. And we ended up beating them 7-3 because he allowed us to be afraid. And that was the thing. Yeah, you look down
Fred Barry was their leading scorer. He had 164 penalty minutes. And then it goes, Barry Beck had 325. And then we got 239.
But he looked like a man. Like he was such a 6'4" man where he had the big square jaw, and not like we were just watching your young guy that you had on Liam, and he looked like a boy. Barry was a full-grown man at that time. Yeah, that was the biggest differences.
So you talk about Sherbrooke. I went to school at Bishop's University. So Sherbrooke used to have a major junior team. I don't know if they still do. It was hostile in that barn. You'd go in there and I sound ancient saying this, but in the late 90s, you could still smoke indoors. Oh, yeah. So over the perch, dudes are smoking. They're just crushing Molson X's, and the stuff they're saying is nuts, and it's wild in some of these barns.
You got to come to a senior hockey game this year in Saskatchewan this winter.
Yeah.
You're going to get all that again in 2025. You're going to get the smoking, the drinking, the vulgarness.
Did you ever play senior? Did you ever?
No.
Never, huh?
Never had that luxury. I was lucky. I went from playing to coaching all in the same time. So there was no downtime for me.
A lot of people are going to remember you coaching that listening out there. And we talked about Ryan Getzlaff earlier. What a story he was from here in Regina. Is working for Hockey Canada now. When you go back and your players, starting with Getzlaff, were there some guys that you thought, hey, that guy's going to be a good coach, that guy's going to be a good general manager? Because you coach so many guys, but you probably just get the guys that have the high hockey IQ that could probably transfer into that post-career.
There's a lot of guys that you could sit there and you could talk X's and O's with all day long. And I keep telling, and I've told many people, not just because I'm on the show, that Ryan was the best captain I'd had. And the reason was he was the most approachable. He came into my office every day And I give you an example of how he could read the play is that after a first period, if we were doing bad, like he'd say, Bruce, stay out of the room. I'll take care of this. And he'd go in there and he would talk to the guys. But then there was times he says, Bruce, I'm horrible tonight. I can't be the one talking. You're going to have to come in. Now, this didn't happen all the time, but I just thought that had never happened to me on any of the other teams that I'd been on. But he could see the play and read the room as good as anybody. So
now some meathead coaches, Bruce, are saying, no, this is my team. You're the player. You do your thing. How along the way did you kind of evolve as a coach to be like, I'm going to listen to my guy. I'm going to listen to my captain. And what was it about Getzlaf that you're like, I have the trust in him to go do something like that?
Well, I think the big thing was that when I was growing up, it was like the coaches would always just do what I say, right?
Yeah.
And I thought I was a pretty smart hockey guy and knew the game. But no, they didn't want to listen to anybody. And then they would bag skate you if you lost, and which made no sense to me. There was no real purpose other than punishment. And I always thought that, if I was a smart player, there's an awful lot of other guys are smart guys there. And I don't have all the ideas, so I'm going to listen to them. If I like the idea, great. They've got the feel of the room and the players better than I do. And I had the feel of the room better than management did. But, if they would come up and talk to you and it made sense, we would do that. And Ryan was the best at it.
Your first NHL coach was Washington?
Yeah.
And then you got Ovechkin, a young Alexander Ovechkin. What was that first year like with him, the superstar from Russia, coming over? I'm sure there were some interesting coaching days with him.
Oh, yeah. He liked to have fun. You had to keep your hand on the throttle pretty good there. I'll tell one story. I'll end up telling it again tomorrow night, I think. But the one time, we had a young team, Mike Green, Alex Hammond, all these guys were really good stars, but Nick Backstrom, they all like to go out. So George McPhee told me, he says, you're going to have to start calling curfew. And I says, George, I can't call curfew. And I've never called curfew in my life. And he says, nope, you're going to have to start calling curfew on these guys. So I said, okay. So the one night, we're in New York, and Alex has the worst place in the world. And I'm sitting there, and I know 11 o'clock, I got to call, I'm calling curfew. And so at about 5 to 11, I can't get a hold of Alex, okay? And I didn't call everybody, but I knew he would be a guy that might be out. And if they're not in, then you've got to do something about it, right? You've got a decision to make. If Alex Ovechkin isn't in for curfew, then you have to give him some sort of punishment. I don't know what it would be right now, but anyway, so it's 5 to 11. I can't get a hold of him. 4 minutes to 11. I can't get a hold of him. I phone our team services guy and I said, Ian, you've got to get a hold of Alex and tell him to call me right away. It's very, very important. And he says, okay, so I get a call back at 1 minute to 11, and it's Alex. And all I hear is electric music going on in the background.
Just thumping away.
Thumping. And like, it was so loud in there. And he said, hey, coach. And I go, Alex, are you in? He goes, yeah, I'm in. Okay, bye. I hung up right away.
He made curfew.
I didn't have to ask any questions, but but he liked to have fun, but he backed it up. Right. He could go out at that age, and as we all know, when you get older, you can't seem to do it quite as good. And he could still play. Back then we said you play guilty, and he played guilty, a few times, and when he did, he was really good.
I love asking that question on our podcast, but I'm looking at that roster. Because we had Ovechkin from Russia. You had Semin, like you said. Who was I totally forgot Sergei Fedorov.
Yeah.
Later in his career.
Well, he was 39. He was 39, and he was sort of the guy that came in and sort of like he was the Gordie Howe of Russian players. So we had, I think, Viktor Kozlov and we had 5 Russians. So he was the one that settled everybody down. And thank God, like he was past his partying stage where he'd want to stay out late at night. So it was
allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. But when you get older, you hide it better too, right? Like,
sure.
I mean, you know
the tricks.
Yeah, you know how to pick your spots. But I mean, I thought he was a godsend. He was talking to somebody a couple days ago. He was not very good in Anaheim that year, and he wasn't good in Columbus. So when we got him, I didn't know what we were getting, but he was fabulous for us.
What's a story you can tell us about when you were coaching? You played a guy and he was playing guilty, but you knew it. You're like, no, I'm playing him. I know you were out last night. Maybe it was the last call. You know, hey, someone went down. You got to come in, but you knew the guy was out.
Well, I know it more on me, like when I played and playing guilty. And I remember one night, Doug Carpenter was the coach, and we were playing in Oklahoma City, and we never got a chance to stay over. So we played the Wednesday and Friday. So Thursday, all the boys are out having a good time. And Friday, he knew I was out, because a trick you learn as a coach is when you know guys are out or you hear there's a potential, you skate beside them and talk to them, and you can smell them, because the booze just comes right out of you, right? So the morning skate, he could tell I had been out. So he didn't, like, we're losing, and in the third period, he's there after the first shift. He comes in, you want to stay out all night? You stay on the ice all night. And he wouldn't let me come off the ice for the whole third period. So, I mean, but I found it as a trick. Like, I mean, when I became a coach, you know, you're skating around with the players before practice. Sometimes you just want to go up to them and see, I'd go to assistant Bob Woods, who, you know, is from Saskatchewan. I'd go up to him and I said, I can tell he's been out all night, so work him hard. Yeah.
Bruce, when, like, you're a baseball fan. You watch a lot of Jays, you watch a lot of Yankees. Like, as a coach, and we were talking about this in the airport, I think what's about to happen with the Jays is fascinating, because they have all these young kids who are playing really well.
Yeah.
A lot of production. And Anthony Santander is going to come back, the guy they gave $100 million, $95 million to this offseason. He's been hurt for so long. But the quote-unquote getting paid a lot of money, you got to play him.
No. You got to play him next year.
Right.
But you don't have to play him this year. Like, I think the Caps did the same thing with Nicky Backstrom. That's why Nick's playing in Sweden right now. He didn't want to end his career like that, because I think he would have given it and I haven't talked to him enough, but I think he would have given it a shot, but that would have thrown the salary cap way out of whack for Washington. They would have had to move some players that were playing great, and they were playing great. They didn't want anybody to buck the horse type thing. But with Santander too, we were talking, he wasn't doing well when he was playing.
Right.
He was having a bad year. To me, I would sit there and say, get better. We don't want to rush you. You just take it easy, and next year you come back with a vengeance, and we got a spot for you. Because, like, who do they take out now? Santander comes back, and Barger doesn't play?
Right.
I think Barger's fabulous.
So take us behind the curtain, though. If the owner, management saying, we're paying him a lot of money, or the owner says, we're paying him a lot of money, Bruce, how do those conversations go when you say, but we're winning?
That's how you do it. You say, but we're winning. Like, if you're losing and you're not playing them because for whatever reason, then it becomes a problematic thing. But I mean, it's pretty hard to come down on the coach when they're having so much success right now. I just think it would be really difficult. It was bad enough they had to send that pitcher down when they got Bieber, and he was like 9-4, and they brought him back up. But I mean, you don't want to upset the apple cart when coaches are the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, they want to put on the same clothes every day. Superstitious. And are the most superstitious people in the world. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like, I mean, play the same guys. Yeah.
Did you have one?
Well, when we won the Calder Cup in Hershey the one year, I wore the same tie all the time. So after the last game, the GM took it and framed it, and I got it in a frame.
Oh, that's great.
It's got more ketchup and crap on it all over the place, but I kept putting it on because we're winning.
We got a text here on the Prairie Line Rentals text line from Dom in Moose Jaw. He says, my daughter played volleyball with Boyd Cain's daughter. He said Bruce Boudreau was his favorite coach of all time. Doesn't surprise me. Great gentleman. Great to listen to. Another Sasky guy. You coached a lot of Sasky guys. Boyd's one of those quiet, very respectable man.
He was our captain. And you know what? He ended up playing a lot of games, in the NHL. But, I mean, just up and down the wing, very quiet, would fight when he had to, but he was big, strong in front of the net. I loved him. And matter of fact, I don't know how it's going to work out, but his name came up the other day on potential guys for the Hershey Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
And now, because I'm on the board type thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but it's just funny that coincidental that his name came up. Is he going to be a guy that's voted in?
We are going to hear so many stories tomorrow night at the Royal Regina, the Royal Dinner between you two. I can't wait. The slap shot stories, that's going to be good. One more I wanted to ask, because looking through the hockey DB here, Olaf Kolzig, these goalies are always different ducks, but sometimes you find a goalie that's normal. When you go back to your goaltenders that you coached, who was the goalie that was maybe the most normal as a goaltender?
I don't know if I ever had a normal goalie. I mean, no, they're all either loony or they've got quirks about them that you're going, whoa, you just leave them alone. And that's one of the reasons. I don't know. I don't want to not answer your question, but I can't think of anybody right now. But I always left everything up to my goalie coach to talk to the goalies and then come back and talk to me, because they would be their guy. And
they speak their own language.
Yeah, if off the top of my head, Thatcher Demko was really just a normal person.
Okay,
and a work ethic that as good as anybody's. But I mean,
you had Ilya Brizgalov for a bit, didn't you?
Yeah, for about a week. You know what he did? And it's funny because I was writing things on the board, okay, and I left the room before the game, and he wrote something else, trying to make a joke out of it after, and I took it pretty seriously, and I went right up to him in front of everybody, and I just said, hey, this is my domain, basically. You don't start, when I'm thinking about this all day, putting it on and coming in here thinking that we're playing here for a joke. But he lasted about a week.
He was a jokester, though.
Yeah, he was a jokester. And it was him or another guy from Czech. And they would, when they signed in L.A., they would leave all their equipment at home. They would take it all home with them. But then they would come home and say, hey, I have no equipment, so you'd have to go out the first day and buy them new skates, new pads, and everything else.
What a hustle.
It was incredible. I remember when I think it was Brizgalov was the guy, or there was another goalie, Roman Czechmanek was the guy, and he had no equipment.
Oh, what a little side hustle. Arash and Bruce are at the Royal Dinner tomorrow night at the Royal Regina telling stories. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not sure if there's still any tables or spots available. You can call the Royal Regina. Bruce, thanks so much for doing. Have you ever had Western pizza? You've never been to Regina?
No, never been.
You're in for a treat.
Yes,
on the Western
I'm looking
Pizza
forward to
front.
I haven't been either. He's been talking about this for 2 years
Western
now.
Pizza.
We're going tonight. It's Regina style pizza. It's gonna.
You're gonna have to explain it to me.
We will. And it's gonna be about a half hour's time. It's gonna be awesome. Bruce Boudreau, Arash Madani. We'll take a break.